This is 4PLUS4.
Breaking news. Zillionaire girl bosses astonished by backlash to their frivolous trip to space that lasted 11 minutes. Thoughts?
My main thought is I feel like they lied to them.
What about what was going to actually happen?
I feel like they lied to them and they're lying to us too.
Somebody lied to her several times.
And they told them that they were going to space and they actually just put them in a simulator for 11 minutes and shook them about a bit.
No, because literally, how did it take 11 minutes? It's given like Epcot.
I actually think that straight men have sex for longer than 11 minutes.
I mean, let me ask the audience.
Also, did you see that Katy Perry sang? But did you see what she sang?
Do you know what it was giving? It was giving during lockdown when all of the celebrities were singing. Imagine there's no heaven. Like, why are you doing a sing-song?
I like to forget that happened.
I want to make today's episode the old black girl deep dive episode.
Deserved.
Because we're not a little category, Darlan. We are a long, intense, intentional conversation.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that a lot of our audience are old black girls. And it's just that we never get the opportunity to speak about it and nobody ever speaks about us, so.
Yeah, I just feel like we talk about it between ourselves at home and stuff, but I feel like it literally goes into like 15,000 different branches of conversations. Even like down to figuring out what our definition of an alternative black girl is. Because I feel like now I wear that badge with pride, but before I was like, I don't think that's me, and I feel like I had my definition messed up. Like, what do you...
I mean, I don't know, because I'm not really sure if the world's definition, or like the majority of people's definition of like an alt black girl is based off of what it means to stereotypically be black. Like, is being an alt black girl, is it the same definition as being an alt white girl?
No.
Or is it based off of what is alternative to the stereotypical black person?
Well, this is the thing. I feel like alternative, that's why I feel like I had such an issue with it, because I was like, well, alternative, obviously when I was younger and stuff, means being put in like this, what's the word? Like, what's the word when you're like an outsider or something? You're on the outside of like what is the norm and what is desired and what is this and what is that. Like alternative felt like a bad word. And so I felt like...
Also, we're already on the outskirts as black women. We're not trying to add another label to it.
It was like being banished from blackness as well.
Yeah.
If you were alternative, which is like
because it's so far away from what being stereotypically black is supposed to be about.
Exactly. I think obviously it came through in like growing up, what kind of music we listen to as well, and being like heavily influenced by like rock and stuff like that. It felt like that was just another... There was just so many things that I felt like I had to prove in order to be first seen as a woman and then seen as black and then seen as...
Being seen. It's about being seen.
Exactly.
The amount of times that like I'd get this little buzz inside of me when like the emo boy at the back of the class, like the white guy in like year 11 would be like, you listen to System of a Down?
No, literally, it was so
like, yes, I do.
It's like, yeah, actually, I listen to Rage Against the Machine too.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because it's like, why the fuck do I care about your approval? But then also, why do I also want to reject
But
that?
I think it's not about getting the approval of the white person. It's about getting the approval of the alt community.
Yeah.
And just feeling like we belong, which at the time was only white people.
Yeah.
It was a white space. It was everything to do with it was like that. We've been around. We exist. We've been in these spaces. And I think it's actually, we have more representation in music than we do across like media, like film and TV and stuff. But I do think if we do have representation across film and TV, like Michaela Cole, Issa Rae, for some reason we're given like
the comedy,
quirky, awkward, like we don't just get alt black girl.
Yeah.
Why is there's like whole articles that are like, these 10 famous quirky black actresses. It's like, why are they quirky? Why are they awkward? Why are they not just alt? Why do we have to create a new category and they can't just fit in with the rest of the alt community?
Yeah, I agree. And even within like comedy, and there are still other subsections, because we are not a monolith. Yeah. But there are subsections within it, but we always just put as the weird ones, or like AO, for example, like would just be seen as like
AO.
Weird, and but
she's not weird. She's funny.
Yeah.
And she's old. Like, she just is. Like.
But that's what we were saying also about the conversation around if you're white, it's like
and like it's its own thing.
But if you're black, then like
You're weird.
You're weird in like a negative way. Even like in terms of like Tracy Barbie.
Oh yeah,
that TikTok.
Because I saw this TikTok that was like, it was this girl, and she's clearly an alt black girl who has alt black girl interest, and she was just talking about what she likes, and everybody in the comments was comparing her to Tracy Barbie, and she went on this massive rant, which was well deserved, to be honest, where she was talking about, it's actually quite crazy for you to compare me to Tracy Barbie because I am nothing like her. We're just, you're viewing my quirks and my altness as this being the same world as her mental illness.
Yeah, she literally is mentally ill.
Those two things they're not the same thing. And like, we just get this broader label because it's extra weird that we're not following the norm. So therefore we must be along the same lines as Tracy Barbie.
Yeah, well, we're not following the norm of black women.
Yeah.
Because there isn't the same kind of norm, obviously, allowed for white women and for black women.
And we love our Zara black women down. We love you down. Drinks.
Alcohol.
Bar.
Cruel.
Baby. The different genres that we exist in is, again, more than I think people would understand.
Which is part of the issue.
Oh yeah, because we exist across like lots of different kinds of music, like rock, even K-pop, even country. I guess if we're going based off of our own definition of what it means to be an old black girl, doing country as a black woman is alternative.
Yeah, even though we all know where most music stem from. Anyway, yeah.
But there's also the world of like video games and anime. I saw literally Chikamso made a video this morning that was about like black people are the biggest K-pop supporters outside of Asia. Like nobody rides hard for them like we do.
But we were literally having that conversation about like black people and Asian people borrowing from each other's cultures and like having a respect for it and it not feeling the same as when
a white person does
white person does that. And obviously I was like, well, I feel like when you come from a culture yourself, you have more understanding of what it means to respect and not exploit someone's culture.
And also there are, across all ethnicities, all ethnicities that aren't white, there's this like, across like all POC ethnicities, I feel like there are crossovers in like the origins of things. Not to like blur all of the lines and be like, we can all just wear whatever and borrow from each other's cultures, but like there are crossovers in a lot of POC cultures. So it doesn't feel, it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same. Because even like our new obsession, XG, watching them rap, it doesn't feel as offensive as we Iggy Azalea. It's different. Like it's different.
So fucking different.
Yeah.
Because do you know what it feels like? It feels like turning up to, you turn up to a cookout and as a white person, you turn up to a cookout, you don't bring a single thing, but then you eat a bit of that person's mac and cheese, you eat a bit of that person's chicken, you eat a bit of that person's dumplings,
salad.
You have some potato salad.
Yeah.
Whereas an Asian person is going to turn up
with a dish.
With their own dish.
Yeah.
So that we can do a little trade-off.
Yeah,
We're going to
agreed.
enjoy each other's things. You don't have anything to bring to the table. Therefore, you are not invited. Lemon.
Lime.
Margarita.
Even the conversation of black artists being put into R&B and hip hop categories when their music does not at all sound like that is crazy.
Like Rachel Chin Chin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rachel Chinariri, her government name. Like her, for example, having this whole thing across the internet of people being like, she's an R&B girly.
R&B where?
R&B music.
Is the R&B in the room with us?
She's an indie artist. She makes indie music.
Literally.
Like, not even if she was like a pop artist, it would still be bad, but at least you could be like, okay, I get why they're blurring the lines or whatever.
There's no lines to be
music.
blurred.
Indie.
It's literally drawn in permanent marker. This is the music that she makes. It's not confusing at all.
I feel like the same thing happens with like Rico Nasty on a different level because she's obviously American, but like people love to put her into the category of like, I mean, I don't know if she'd identify herself as a rapper, but like people love to say she's a rapper or she's this or she's in the hip hop space. My girl loves making hyperpop.
Yeah, there was a time when she rapped, but it's like just because you rap, I feel like when you're put into a space, it's because of what kind of music it is, not necessarily if you sing or rap.
Yeah, because if anybody else rapped one time, or rapped for one album
Yeah.
and then came back and did something completely different. We're not calling them a rapper anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole conversation period around like dark-skinned Black women in music and the success rates compared to their light-skinned counterparts. And like that is a whole thing in itself as well.
Even like with Doechii, until she got her flowers this year, we was talking about her. But like the majority of people weren't talking about her.
No. They weren't talking about her because they couldn't put her in a box. Again, she is an alternative Black girl.
She is the alternative Black girl.
Yeah, but because her music, one song that she came out with, for example, like Alter Ego is very like, yeah. But then there's What It Is, which was like a lot, it was more R&B. People didn't know
that was her.
People didn't know that was her, A. And B, because they weren't able to be like, she is a this. Then no one was really paying attention. But that's why she was smart with her marketing of this album. And that's why everyone was like, oh.
They could finally put her into a box.
Yeah, oh, I can see, which I understand that like that's just a whole other thing with like being able to market yourself well. But also as an alternative Black woman, the only way she is getting her flowers is because she created herself in a way that she could be put into this box of like, oh, this is the next best rapper. Yeah. So then people knew,
1,000%.
and they were like, oh, okay, we can digest her now that we know that she is.
That's why I'm really excited to see what she comes out with next, because I feel like she's not just landed in this space and is happy with it. Like she's gonna keep switching up, and I'm excited for everybody else to realize, oh wait, like this isn't permanent.
Catchphrase.
Stephen Mohan.
Gay.
Really gay. The way that alt Black women push across into fashion as well. Because usually, again, we don't just exist in the music space. We exist across everything, and especially in fashion, because no offense, low-key the blueprint.
High-key the blueprint.
High-key the blueprint that everybody else is pulling inspo from.
Even Erykah Badu. OG.
Queen.
Old Black girl.
Honestly, potentially the OG Black girl.
Yeah.
Even like, I think that, I mean, based off our definition, it's hard to see it that way, but even like India Irie, Lauryn Hill, that still feels like an alt Black girl to me, because that is stepping out of what we're seen as, what we're supposed to be. Yeah. Because they're soft girls. They're so in touch with their emotions. They're really vulnerable. Like we're not supposed to be like that, especially not dark-skinned Black women. Yeah. We're aggressive and strong. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. So I think we even spread across into like those kind of genres where it's a lot more softer music and just people would never even think to consider them an alt Black girl.
Yeah, I feel like alternative people think just means they think alternative is a box, but actually it's just being outside of the box. So it's literally like a spectrum of things. Like it's not even just one thing to be an alternative. Yeah, you are anything but what you are supposed to be.
This is 4+4.